This is a Tesla Model Y. And whether you're in the market to buy your own Model Y, or whether you're just trying to join the club and picking up your own Tesla, or you're thinking about switching over and jumping into the electric vehicle game, this is the video for you. We're gonna take a look at our 1 year review of our Tesla Model Y and making the switch to electric.
What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to LockettTech.
So, for all the new viewers who are first-timers to the channel, I'm Chris.
And I'm Michelle.
And today we are going to tell you all about our Tesla Model Y. Now, LockettTech, we're a channel that's all about tech. However, you'll see if you look through our channel, we even have an entire playlist dedicated to our Tesla Model Y. However, neither one of us are like automotive people. We're about as
Definitely not.
Yeah, we're about as opposite as you can get. Now, I'm a big tech nerd and I love technology in general. So a lot of our approach to things is from a tech standpoint, but we've been showing you guys the daily use of our Model Y for a regular family of 5 for the last year. So
1 year already.
I know, I can't believe it. It's been 1 year and how many miles? It's been 1 year and 21,874 miles.
Wow, we do a lot of driving.
That's a lot of miles in 1 year. So let's just say we put some use on the car, right? I think it's fair to say. We live in northeastern Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia, in good old Bucks County, PA. We've taken this thing on a number of trips to like Hershey Park, which is a little road trip. It's like an hour and a half away, hour 45 minutes away. It's been on some moderate road trips to like the Jersey Shore. It's been on some little bit longer road trips. We took it to Virginia. Which is about a 5-hour drive from here. Our family of 5 all packed in our Model Y, and we took a massive road trip down to Myrtle Beach, north? I can never remember. South Carolina, which was what? That took about 12, 13 hours? I think it was about like 12, 13 hours. So we've taken this thing.
You've gone like a little north too. You've gone to Albany.
Yep.
New York, that was 4 hours.
Just recently, just last weekend, Tyler had another soccer tournament. Him and I drove up to Albany, New York. It was about 4 hours, give or take. So we put this thing through a lot. And we feel like at this point, we definitely can give you a really good review on the Model Y. This one in general, though, we're going to hit on 3 major topics, and we're going to talk about them. And the first one is, if you're thinking about buying your first electric vehicle, what has our experience been switching to EV from gas? Because that was a big decision maker when we first decided.
It's a lot of weighing the options.
And I'm sure all of you guys out there that are thinking about buying your first EV, that's a major thing to discuss. The second thing, getting involved with Tesla in general. Right? So when you buy a Tesla, any Tesla,
you're quite different than anywhere else.
You're getting involved in a Tesla company, and that means everything that comes with it. And then last and not least, we're obviously going to tell you about our Model Y. We do have the 7-seat configuration for our family of 5. We're going to talk about the cargo space. We're going to talk about how it's worked for our family of 5 in the 7-seater. So there's Michelle and I. We have 3 boys. Our oldest is 13, our middle is 11, and our youngest is 7 now. When we first started this.
Glad you could pass that quiz.
Thanks. But now, especially Tyler. Tyler's gotten tall.
A lot taller. He's taller than me.
Tyler's gotten tall. Brandon's gotten taller. They've all gotten taller. So we're going to tell you about how it's functioned for a family of 5, especially with a teenager and some, middle-aged kids. Now, first things first, if you're wondering why we just did our intro in the car and why this entire video is going to be in the car, it's because, well, like I said, we're in northeast Pennsylvania and we're going on like 28 hours of straight rain at this point. We're just going to kind of do it in the car where it's dry. Making a switch to EV. So why did we make a switch? Why did you want to switch from a gas car to an EV?
Don't like oil changes and really dislike pumping gas. And my brother had one, and I kept hearing about how wonderful it was and how great it was, and our friends had one. And after a lot of thinking about it and a lot of convincing somebody who did not want one for a very long time and kept telling them he would never get one.
Yeah, it's true.
We buckled and we caved.
I was pretty adamantly against Tesla and EV in general.
Yeah, we went to the King of Prussia Mall one day. We started to look at it and went home, really kind of weighed the options one more time, and next thing you knew, we were buying a car online.
There's obviously lots of concerns out there about buying an EV, like range anxiety, right? In fact, If you look at our very first road trip that we did, it was Easter Sunday. We went to Hershey Park. We had serious range anxiety when we were there. The Tesla just totally died. And now we're pretty much gonna have to just spend the night. We got there and we didn't have enough energy to get home. It was a holiday, so like there wasn't much open out there. The supercharger
one didn't exist at that point in time. The one on our way home.
And the charger at Hershey Park, which is the one that we planned on using, was broken. So we were like,
didn't have a plan B.
Yeah, we were freaking out. We had some serious range anxiety. How do you feel about range anxiety in general?
It's not really an issue, I don't think, for us anymore. I really do trust the car, and I think that was the biggest thing. It'll tell you things like, you need to slow down, you need to stay under a certain mile per hour, and it tells you how to kind of conserve while you're driving, so it's just a matter of trusting the car.
It's important to know that, especially if you do want to use the mileage feature as opposed to the battery percentage, Tesla's mileage forecasting is notoriously terrible. It's based off of EPA estimates, which just aren't very accurate in general. The percentages, though, it's like a phone. It's showing you the true percentage of the battery, so it's a little bit more accurate. I don't think that there's a way to avoid range anxiety on your first trip with an EV.
Even the first couple trip.
But as long as you plan properly for your first road trips, that you'll do fine. And like Michelle said, just trust the car, because it'll tell you. And especially now, there's a lot more superchargers out there now than there was even a year ago. Yeah, agreed. I will say, if you're making the decision between like a standard range vehicle and a long range vehicle, we opt for the long range. So it's an interesting point on this. Your brother, when he bought his first Tesla, he bought a standard range. He's like, oh, that's fine, I'll be good with standard range. And on the day-to-day driving to work, he was fine. He had no problems. But anytime they took a road trip, he was having to charge a lot.
Yeah.
So
they like to drive to Disney.
There's so much to the point that after owning it for what, maybe a year and a half?
Yeah, that's when he went with us that day to King of Prussia Mall.
Yeah, he bought a new Tesla Model Y. And he did it not only because he wanted to go from a Model 3 to a Model Y, but he did it mostly because of the range, because he wanted to get a long range, so he had plenty of battery, so he didn't have to ever worry about it. If you're on the fence between the two, personally, I recommend going the way of the long range, because that's not something you can easily go back on and make an adjustment to.
Right. You can add different features. You can even do the monthly subscription if you choose to do that. In my eyes, it's not worth it. If you're going to travel anywhere, even if it's only once or twice a year, it really is nice to have that extra comfort when you're on the road. How
do you find it with the whole EV thing and having to stop to charge up when you do take a road trip?
Oh, it's my favorite part of the road trip.
Watch some of our road trip videos. So
it is not my favorite, and it actually will take longer than a gas vehicle to get you somewhere on a longer trip, because when you pump gas, you're in and out pretty quickly. You definitely are there for anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. So just plan accordingly. It is something you just have to get used to. I find that it's like every 2 to 3 hours or so, you're gonna have to stop and charge back up. Definitely in this car. And each stop runs about, on average, between 15 to 20 minutes on average. Sometimes you can have to stay longer if you're at a slower charger. Sometimes it'll tell you you're in and out in 10 minutes if you're at a really fast one and you're pretty close to the destination. You're just kind of splash charging to get there. So it's not very long, and it does give a good excuse to kind of get out, stretch your legs, go to the bathroom real quick, and grab your food. But it can extend the length of time for a road trip. It definitely does. Just plan accordingly. So making the jump from a gas vehicle to an EV, would you say it was difficult, not difficult? That's a tough question. It's not difficult, it's just different. You just have to, it's like getting a new phone. You just have to learn it to do it. That's a great example. That's a great way to put it. Would you go back to a gas vehicle after owning your Tesla for a year? So I don't want to give up my car, because I do love my car. But down the road, in 7 years or so, when I need to get another one, I would probably consider looking at a hybrid. And the only reason why is that if I didn't want to stop somewhere on a long drive. Other than that, I don't know, and 7 years from now, I may change that, because I absolutely do love my Tesla. You're not necessarily looking to leave EV and go back to gas. Most certainly not. You would either stay with EV or look at something more like a hybrid. Right. There you go. So now that we've covered the whole EV process, if you're going to buy a Tesla, any Tesla, whether it's a Model Y, Model 3, Model X, or Model S,
You're buying into the Tesla family, so you're becoming part of Tesla, which means you need to be aware of the pluses and minuses of being a part of Tesla company. What would you say are some of the pluses that you found as being a part of Tesla?
The updates are probably my number one thing, because usually you buy a car, you pull it off the lot, it's never going to get better from the day you bought it for the most part. Whereas with Tesla, when an update comes, it's incredible sometimes the things that you get as an update. It's almost like you have a brand new car that you're getting into because you get some new cool feature.
Yeah, the car never stops improving, which is really neat. It's just like a phone. Like, all of a sudden you get an alert, hey, there's a software update available. You do the update either right then and there, you can schedule it to happen overnight while you're sleeping, and then you get in the car and boom, all of a sudden you got improvements. There's even things like it improves mileage and your range capabilities.
And I don't even understand that, but it is cool when you read the message and it says, oh, your range or your mileage is going to be improved. Great.
I even like, obviously this created a big stir when they changed the entire UI earlier this year, but I think that's a cool thing that they can do that. I mean, when we got in the car that day, it was literally like having a new car.
It was pretty cool.
And obviously there's other benefits too of joining the Tesla family, and that is the supercharger network, which, I mean, in my opinion, this is probably the single best reason to get a Tesla as opposed to any other. And if you've seen any of our reviews of other EVs, it always comes down to this, and it's the supercharger network.
Yeah.
The third-party charger network that's out there with Charge America and ChargePoint and all those other companies out there, yes, they do have chargers that are out there, but one, they're a lot more expensive. Their rates for charging generally are higher than what you'll find at a Tesla supercharger. Number two,
they have less stalls.
They absolutely have less stalls. Half the times you show up, and they may only be 2 stalls. Most Tesla superchargers will have 8+ in most cases. They're also not reliable. You show up, there's tons of reports out there.
Broken.
Yeah, you show up and you could show up to one that has 6 stalls. There may be one that's actually operational. The rest of them, they just don't work. Those third-party charging vendors, they just don't take very good care of the units themselves.
So the next one is a little bit of a pro, but a lot of a con also, and that comes to the Tesla service. One pro of the Tesla service is many times they'll come right to your house to fix something. The downfall is they can't always fix it, and then the appointment and the wait time for service can be really, really long.
In fact, our last video just last week was about Tesla service. They do have Tesla Home Service, which is super helpful if it's something little. If you have to go in, obviously you could have to wait a long time for the appointment. But what we did learn in that last video at our last experience, Tesla service is working like 24 hours a day.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we went there at like 10 o'clock at night to pick up our car, and you would have thought it was in the middle of the day. Like, it was all lights were on, tons of employees taking cars in and out. I mean, it was hustle and bustle all night. But there's still issues out there with like part delays.
They're not everywhere. When you look at Ford and different things like that, we can go 15 minutes one way or the other, and we can be where we needed to be if this was a Ford. The Tesla is a long drive away.
Hopefully that is something that gets better as time goes on. There's nightmare stories in parts of the country where Tesla service is really horrible. We haven't had that. We've been very fortunate. The Tesla Home Service guy that covers our area is amazing. He is so phenomenal. He's a really nice guy. He's fantastic. And even our experiences at our local service center in Devon, they've all been great as well. But I do know there are some not so great experiences out there. I feel like the same could be said for a lot of other manufacturers.
Oh, most definitely. I just think that it's just something to consider, something to be aware of, that's all.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's interesting is they don't do inspections. That part is you just have to find somewhere local that can take a Tesla, because you do want to make sure that they know what they're doing with a Tesla, but there is no emissions and you just get the state inspection yearly. So we just go to our local AAA.
So now the last thing to discuss, which is probably the reason why you clicked on this, is the car itself. When we first bought our car, our 1 week review that we did, we gave like a complete tour of the car and all its capabilities and all of that stuff. So if you want to see that video and see a tour of everything that the car does and stuff like that, there will be a link to that video there. Like I said, we have a Model Y 7-seater, so we do have the third row.
I love when people look at you like there's 7 seats in that car.
I know, it's kind of funny. So why don't we start there and talk about the 7-seater option. We have 3 boys. We're a family of 5 that use this thing all the time. Our oldest is 13, our middle is 11, and our youngest is 7. So the configuration and the way that we do it every day in the car is obviously Michelle and I are up front. The boys, so usually Tyler sits right behind Michelle, right here behind the passenger seat. Mason is in his booster seat right behind the driver's seat. And then we have the 3rd row up back there. And our middle child, who's 11, Brandon, typically sits back there, and that's where he spends most of his time. Tyler actually can fit back there, our 13-year-old, not necessarily comfortably.
That great because of the headroom.
Yeah, so, but he can. So on like short rides, if like we're driving him and a bunch of his friends around somewhere, they can sit back there and they can deal with it. But on a long road trip, yeah, no, that wouldn't work. I would say it's not for adults. I mean,
and if Tyler does go back there, usually if somebody's Tyler's height or my height or something, they usually only put one of them back there with like kind of their feet up on the seat, because then they can slouch down and not risk hitting their head.
But it is very functional, especially if you have, you know, like kids, I would say up to teenager. I feel like you kind of had those issues in almost any vehicle where the chair kind of comes up and down. Yeah, like if you had a captain situation where you can kind of go in the middle.
We didn't have that problem in the minivan.
No, but I mean, if you have a vehicle that has 3 rows and the 2nd row has to fold up so somebody can get back there, you can have the same situation happen. It definitely is tight though, that's for sure.
It's absolutely functional. The other downfall of it is, and just to be aware of, is if you have too much luggage and you don't have a tow behind, there isn't a lot of space when you have that 3rd row.
Yes, that's true, but bear in mind, we're a family of 5, and we've gone on a lot of road trips in this car.
Absolutely.
And this car does have a lot of storage.
Most definitely, but not for the big luggage.
So we don't have the full 3rd row up. We usually only keep Brandon's seat up. The other one we keep down, just so we have more storage back there. If you had both of them up, I don't even think you could fit a big suitcase.
I don't think you could either. Yeah, we only fit it because of that seat down.
If you have the full 3rd row up, you're gonna have to go with like medium-sized luggage and down, because you're not fitting a big one back there. But
there's tons of storage for all the other stuff. It's just the large luggage you have to be cautious about.
And there's all sorts of options to get extra storage externally in the car if you need it. You have tow behinds if you get the tow hitch. They do make optional roof racks that you can put up there, and you can put like one of those bubbles up on top and you can drive that way. Now, obviously, if you do anything like that, it's going to affect your efficiency, which our road trip to Myrtle Beach definitely impacted our efficiency. I'll throw that link so you can check out how badly it does impact the efficiency. A lot of people who are on the fence, do I get the 3rd row? Do I not get the 3rd row? We always said, get the 3rd row, because even if you don't want to use it all the time, you just keep it down, but at least you have the option to put it up and use it if you want. And given that it's only like a $2,000 upgrade, it's worthwhile to have it. Do you still believe that?
Oh my gosh, we use it all the time. Yes. And it's just nice even just to separate. I know that they can all 3 fit in the back. It's just nice to have that little bit of separation when we're going on some longer drives.
Yeah, even if you're a family of 4 and you're on the fence, absolutely get the 3rd row. A time will come. Now, they could be young. Maybe you got a 2- and 5-year-old and you don't really see this coming yet. There will come a time where they're going to be at a sporting event. They're going to be at a school event. They're going to be at a dance event.
And I'm taking all the kids in the neighborhood.
Hey, can so-and-so come home with us, or can we give so-and-so a ride home? There's going to be a time where you're going to want that 3rd row. So even if it's not something you're going to use every single day for just $2,000 more. Now, look, obviously, if there's a budget constraint and you can't swing it, don't get it. But if that $2,000 isn't going to break your bank, yeah, get the 3rd row. One other question that we get a lot, or I see a lot, is the glass roof. Does it heat up and stuff like that?
No, but we also did tinted, so I don't know if that makes a difference.
Before we got the roof tinted and we went on road trips to like Virginia and stuff like that, I do feel like it heated up a little bit more. I think if you talk to people, if you live out in really sunny areas like Arizona and the West Coast and things like that, if you talk to them, they'll all tell you it can heat up. Now, again, we tinted ours. Since we've tinted it, absolutely no problems whatsoever. It doesn't heat up at all.
And I'm crazy. I was worried that the kids would get sunburned in the car.
It does have standard UV protection on it anyway, so you won't get sunburned even without the tint. But the glass roof is pretty cool. I don't know. I like it.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
You just don't get to see much of it.
It's also a cool conversation piece too. Ride quality. That's something that a lot of people talk about because the Model Y isn't exactly a smooth ride. So what are your thoughts?
Well, on our bumpy pothole roads that you're constantly like going around everything, I don't think it's that bad.
It's definitely not a soft ride. Like, it's not like driving in like a luxury
No, but it's not like riding
car.
in a truck either.
That's true. It's a sports suspension, in my opinion. I've owned sports cars. So I'm used to it, but it definitely is more of a sport suspension. It's a little bit tighter, so that way when you are taking advantage of its acceleration and, you take tight turns and stuff like that, you don't have a problem. That's really all it is.
Again, like some of our roads are really bad right now, and I wouldn't say it's that bad.
Yeah, it's definitely not. And we do have a video coming up very soon, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you're interested in seeing stuff like this, we are actually going to be doing a coilover suspension kit on our Model Y to see if it actually does make a difference. Yeah, we want to see, is it truly going to be more comfortable to drive in, and does it affect the drivability? So we got that video coming up very, very soon. The paint, a lot of people talk about the paint quality in the vehicle and overspray issues. Underspray, yeah, there's really no way to put it other than it's kind of cheap. We've had problems with our paint. We had to take it in to get one of the doors resprayed at one point because there were so many blemishes in the paint. Again, it's one of the reasons why we always talk about, and any of the other YouTubers out there that have Teslas, they will also tell you the same thing. It is so important to have paint protection film on your Tesla. It's an expensive investment. I get it. Paint protection film's not cheap, but neither is the paint and getting the car repainted. As Tesla continues to improve their paint shops, right? In Berlin, they have the new paint shop going on out there. So hopefully the quality of paint does improve. But for right now, yeah, paint protection film. There's lots of benefits to the paint protection film, though, other than just protecting it.
Accessories.
Yeah, there's like a gazillion accessories. I feel like there's always accessories out there for like every car. But for Teslas, I feel like they really make some really cool ones. We've done a lot of them in our car. I mean, you have the carbon fiber dash caps on there. You have like things like the cup holder insert. You have our steering wheel. We switched out to a yoke steering wheel. You have car phone holders. You have screen protectors for the screen. They even make swivel mounts for the screen. We got that video coming up soon as well. They make all sorts of different accessories for a Tesla, and it just kind of, it helps make it more fun, and you can customize it to your own.
Including the tent that he decided to sleep in.
We don't need to relive that. That was a nightmare. I guess we'll put that video link well if you'd like to check that one out. Yeah, we don't need to go down that one again. There's even add-ons that you can do to the car through Tesla, like the full self-drive option. You can add that on.
Just like the turbo, when you added that, all you did was click the screen, and next thing you know, our car went faster when we hit the pedal. Yeah, the acceleration boost. That's one I do recommend. That's a lot of fun. That was a fun video too. We'll just throw all the links up there. That's fun. And it's just cool that you could be able to do it. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there, because I see in the comments, especially on that video in particular, there was a lot of people that were like, oh, that's a ripoff that they're charging you just to make the car faster. When you think about it, all cars kind of have that, right? Like if you have a turbo, you can get different stages. You can retune it and things like that to make it faster. And it costs lots of money to do that too. This is just one $2,000 upgrade that you make and your car goes faster, but you don't have to take it to a shop and do all that other stuff. Anything else you think it's worthwhile pointing out in the car? This is the big 1-year review. Oh, I know what I love. I love that I don't need a key because I lost my key and I lost it last spring. But I do love that I don't need a key.
The key card, you mean?
Oh yeah, the key card. It's a goner. So anyway, we're down to one. But I do love that my phone is my key, because my phone is something that I can't lose because I can ping it from my watch whenever I can't find it.
Let's not jinx it.
That is a cool feature. I do love that the key card and everything is on your app. I love that when I walk away, the setting that we have it set on is to close all the windows and lock the doors. So I'm not forgetting to lock my doors. I'm not forgetting to put the windows up when it rains at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I've been at work all day. So I think that's a really cool feature.
I mean, I understand that this may seem a little vain or whatever, but it's kind of cool still when you're out driving a Tesla and everybody still looks like, don't get me wrong, there's definitely more Teslas out there now than there was.
Car line.
Right. But it's still like even
somebody has the cool doors in our car line.
So that's what I'm talking about. Like, look, we're Tesla owners. We've had a Tesla for like a year, and
I still think it's cool.
Right. Like all of a sudden, randomly one day, we're in car line to drop our kids off at their school, and we see that there's a Model X in our car line, and we see the Falcon doors go up, and we're just like, oh my God, look, somebody's got a Model X. That's awesome. And we are Tesla owners. So like, it's still got that really fun, cool little factor, you know? We still go places randomly in like shopping centers and stuff, and you'll see like, especially kids, I feel like more so than anything, they'll just kind of stop and go, oh, it's a Tesla. It's still fun and stuff like that, even still today.
Features like on our horn, we have it set up to fart every time we hit the horn, so that still gets laughs and giggles, especially as you're coming up to the bus stop and the kids are there.
Absolutely. The megaphone, we mess with the kids at the bus stop all the time with the megaphone.
There's a lot of fun features.
Yeah, you can just chill in a parking lot somewhere and start messing with people with the megaphone. It's awesome. The functionality of the car, it's a car. I mean, it's going to drive. It's a lot of fun to drive. Autopilot is amazing. I mean, it has all those features and those things that I'm sure you've seen from 1,000 other videos out there.
That's the one thing we forgot. The regen braking.
That's right. I like one pedal driving.
I do not like going back to the gas car. That's the one thing I miss when I go to your truck.
I mean, Tyler and I, when we stopped to supercharge, we threw up a YouTube video. I mean, watched YouTube. I mean, it's...
Oh my gosh, I love my Netflix on here.
Yeah, there's always so much that you can do. Actually, I find this car is even better if you are a sport parent, because when you're at a practice and you're waiting for your child to get done, you don't have to just be in the car bored. You could throw on a TV show and sit here and catch up on your whatever show it is that you're watching.
I had to get to the prep line every Tuesday early, so I sat and watched my Netflix in line.
The biggest question to kind of end this all on, if you had to buy a new car today and you wanted an EV, are you getting the Model Y again, 7-seater, or are you getting like a Model X? Or what would you do?
So I have not driven a Model X. I've never actually been inside it. I've only seen it. I definitely would want to look at it just to see, because the kids are getting taller and they are getting older. That would be something I would consider. But without having driven it, I can't say whether I would get the X or the Y. But I do know that I would stick with a Tesla.
I agree. I would absolutely get a Tesla. I would probably lean towards a Model X, just because I feel like it's a little bit bigger. It has a captain chair option, which
no, but by the looks of it, how much more
room
is there in that third row? Is there truly that much more headroom?
That's a good question. We should maybe do a video on that.
I've been asking you.
Let's ask you guys, do you guys want to see a video of us comparing a third row Model X to the third row Model Y of ours? Should we do the video? Tesla, if you're watching, if you want to hook us up with a Model X for a day or two so we can do it, hey, that'd be great. We would really appreciate it. Let us know. Drop a comment down below. Should we do a comparison video of a Model X third row to our Model Y third row?
Even if we don't do the video, don't worry, I'll have the news for you, because I still want to explore the difference.
I have a feeling I'm going to be renting something off Turo. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed to see that video. On June 26th, on Sunday, we are going to be involved in an awesome car show. It's called Tacos and Teslas. All EVs will be open to it, but it's going to be primarily focused on Teslas. Yeah. We're doing a joint venture with Grant and Menard Premium Detailing over in Warminster. Grant and his team are absolutely amazing. If you live anywhere in the area, check it out. Make plans to come check it out. We're both going to be there. Michelle's going to be there too. We'll be there hanging out with you guys, answering questions, taking pictures, doing whatever you guys want to do. We'll be there. Our car is going to be there, our Tesla Model Y, including with some really cool improvements coming up to it that we talked about, like suspension maybe. I don't know. But check it out. June 26th, Tacos and Teslas. It's also a fundraiser, which is awesome just in itself. Well, there you have it. Our review of our Model Y. I can't believe it's been a year that we've had this thing. I can't believe we put 21,000 miles on it.
I was shocked when you just pulled that screen up.
Jeez, man, we've really racked up the mileage. Well, thank you so much to you guys for being involved in the channel over the last year. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be having the fun that we do with our Model Y and things like that with all of you guys.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much.
If you found this video helpful, whether you're thinking about switching to EV or Tesla or Model Y, make sure to hit the like button, because it really does help us out. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you again in another one real soon. Oh boy, another joint couple video.
Are you serious now? Are you ready?
That garage door is going to open really soon, and it's going to have a 7-year-old standing out in the rain. And I knew we'd have a visitor at some point.
Dude, I can't believe you let that go with a stain on my shirt.
That stain?
It's not funny. I guarantee you Tyler wore my stinking sweatshirt and didn't tell me. That boy takes all of my stuff.
What? We didn't order you one with the sleeve print.
But that's not my fault.
You're wearing Tyler's hoodie.
Sorry, Ty, this time it was me.
No, cut cameras. See you later.